You feel it every single day, don't you? That tight knot in your chest when the market moves against you, when news flashes and you're left in the dust. When the big guys, those shadowy hedge funds with their armies of analysts, secret data feeds, and millions of dollars at their fingertips, seem to dance circles around you like you're standing still. You try to play their game, but every single time, it's like you're running uphill, blindfolded, carrying a weight no one else seems to notice. The gut punch of knowing you don't have access to their intelligence, their tools, their connections. It's crushing, and it's real. You're fighting without a map in a battle where your opponent writes the rules, controls the instruments, and keeps you in their rear view. But here's the raw truth nobody talks about. The game, as it exists now, is rigged. The truth is not just that retail investors get the short end, it's that they were made to believe they can't win, that they must accept the scraps from the table and call it luck if they ever catch a break. Yet inside that frustrating setup, there's something powerful you might be missing, something that, if seen clearly, can completely change the way the playing field looks. Not tomorrow, not in some distant, optimistic future. Right now. Because the greatest edge you ever had wasn't about money or fancy reports. It was, and always will be, about intelligence. Intelligence that speaks directly to you, that changes how you see, think, and decide. You're not stupid. You're not naive. You're laser-focused, sharp as hell, devouring everything from financial news to strategies, chasing that slight advantage everyone dreams about. But what kills you isn't lack of education or hustle, it's access. The hedge funds with their fancy AI, real-time private data, secret connections, they have their finger on a pulse so deep and complex it feels like a different world. You stand outside that world, banging on the door, frustrated because the keys never get handed over. You need their kind of intelligence to compete, to turn the odds in your favor. But what if you don't need to play their game at all? What if the system they built isn't the only way, not the best way, not even the necessary way? What if the prison walls that keep those hedge fund secrets locked away are cracks just waiting to be shattered by someone who's not playing by their rules? See, here's where it gets interesting. The hedge funds think their edge is unbreakable. They think the mystique around their intelligence, the black boxes, the underground networks, the exclusive chatter, is a fortress. But the real fortress is in your mind, in your refusal to accept the hand you've been dealt. If you stop fighting to play their game, you can start creating your game, bending the rules until the system itself bends for you. What are the tools that hedge funds won't tell you about? The ones that don't require millions or fancy desks? First, relentless critical thinking. Question everything. Never swallow information whole. Turn every signal into insight through your own lens. Hedge funds run on groupthink in teams for hours, but what if your edge comes from crafting singular insight from the noise? They're engineering consensus while you can engineer disruption. Step 2. Agility. Large funds move like titans. You move like lightning. You're fast, flexible, and explosive. Instead of waiting for quarterly reports or consensus ratings, you harness alternative data that doesn't show up on their radars. Social sentiment, niche expert networks, unexpected correlations. Change your sources, change your game. Step 3 is brutal honesty with yourself. Hedge funds cover their losses with layers of complexity. They obfuscate to protect image. You do what they wish they could. Cut the fat from your strategy. Ruthlessly simplify. Know exactly your risk limits, your goals, and your non-negotiables. Stop chasing every shiny opportunity. Hedge intelligence is about carving out the right position, not piling on chaos. The retail investor who learns this can become as precise and deadly as any hedge fund. Step 4, and maybe hardest of all, connecting. Not with the masses, but with the few. Hedge funds thrive behind closed doors because they choose their players carefully. Complementary skill sets, trusted intel flows, aligned incentives. Retail investors often suffer from isolation, chasing fragmented info and random tips. Build your own network of experts, thinkers, analysts, but outside the system's control. Find people who look at markets the way you do, who challenge you, who bring unique signals you can't find on Bloomberg. Alone, no chance. Together, you become the insurgent force hedge funds fear most. Unpredictable, untethered, and savage. This isn't fantasy. It's happening now. The edge no institution can buy is the liberated mind, one that refuses to be confined by the old rules, one that carves new knowledge paths. Hedge funds are bound by legacy, regulation, bureaucracy, internal politics. You, unbound by all of that, you strike in the gaps they leave behind. The world's biggest secret? Hedge fund intelligence isn't a monolith. It's a collection of patterns and networks that you can mirror in your own way, faster, leaner, smarter. Most people won't do this. They'll watch videos like this, nod their heads, and go back to hoping for a hot stock tip. But you're not most people. You're done being a passenger. You're ready to rewrite the rules and own what's yours. That begins by rejecting the comfort of conventional investing wisdom that says you need millions and fancy tools. It's a lie crafted to keep you small, to keep power concentrated. The power to compete with hedge funds lies in your relentless will to unlearn, unbind, and become something else. Imagine what it would feel like to see markets not as a cold battlefield where you're outgunned, but as a playground full of signals waiting for you to spot the pattern no one else sees. Imagine transforming from someone who scrambles to react to someone who boldly creates your own alpha, using tools hedge funds overlook because they're blinded by their own scale and complacency. You can tap into smarter, sharper intelligence by shifting how you see information, not necessarily by chasing more of it. After all, the crowd chases noise. Few hunt for the signal buried underneath. And the truth that cuts deepest? The market has never been fair. But it's never stopped those with fire in their belly from rewriting the rules and changing outcomes. The biggest winners don't just take what others give them, they make the game theirs. To do that, you don't beat hedge funds with their own intelligence. You beat them by building new intelligence, faster, more fundamental, more human. Intelligence that's not about secrets or size, but about clarity, boldness, and the savage simplicity of real conviction. This is a call to the relentless, the ones who couldn't care less about playing nice, the ones who burn to find truth underneath noise, who refuse to be cannon fodder for a rigged system. The moment you realize this isn't a game won by sitting quietly and copying others is the day everything changes. There's no secret formula. There's no magic data feed. There is only the refusal to be less than you were made to be. The refusal to accept that hedge funds are inevitably better because they have more money. Money is fuel, yes, but fire, that insatiable, obsessive fire to question, to move fast, to connect, and to transform, that fire no amount of capital can buy. Remember, the system wasn't built to help you. It was built to control and contain brilliance. But brilliance never stays contained. It finds cracks, it breaks walls, it builds new worlds. Hedge funds are just one face of a world that believes in limits. And all limits begin and end inside your head. So burn the idea that you're a small fish in a big pond. Instead, become the storm that no big fish can weather. Find your rare allies, question every fact, own your mistake and your win with equal ferocity. Turn every setback into a blueprint for your next move. This is not about playing their game on their terms. It's about refusing their game completely and building yours. This is your freedom. Not the empty promise of an easy win, but the brutal, beautiful power to make the market yours. Retail intelligence is not just capable of competing with hedge funds, it's capable of remaking the game entirely. Now, the only question is, Are you ready to burn what's comfortable and build something unprecedented? Because from this moment on, every second counts. Your edge is waiting. You just have to grab it and never let go.